Mongolian market is too small. If I really want to do something, let's go back to Japan. I didn't know Japanese business culture. I believed like, oh yeah, this company is becoming my customer. But no, too complex to change. It's not easy. It's not the time. They are not ready to change. Even though I explain, they don't accept it. Am I really in Japan?
Welcome to Unpacking Japan. I'm Toby, and today we welcome Zaya. Zaya is the founder of Mongolia,
Yes.
a company that imports Mongolian cashmere. And you also have Cafe Mongolia, a little cozy place in the heart of Osaka where you serve traditional Mongolian dishes and sweets and many more things.
Yes.
So we want to talk about your journey to Japan today and how you are kind of spreading Mongolian culture here. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for interviewing me.
So, as usual, I want to know first, what brought you to Japan? I know you came here in 2001 as a student.
Yes.
Can you tell us about what made you come or leave Mongolia at the
it's like
time?
more than 20 years ago, but I like the story because Mongolia was a social country. So it was not really open to other countries to travel for, just like people like me, like we didn't have a passport to travel overseas. So once while I was in high school, there was a democratic revolution. So we become a democratic country, and everybody able to have a passport, and then more like open to travel overseas. So my dream was like, I want to study overseas when I was in high school. So I started studying English, even though we had to study Russian in school to take the exam and things, but I had to study English. And then I did the application form to different countries like Japan and Germany, because I was looking for schools that I can study in English, because no Russia, right? No
Yeah,
Russian,
you were studying English, you wanted to use it.
Right? So yeah, so the Japan university sent me reply before Germany, so and then with the scholarship, so that's the choice.
Done deal. I'm off to Japan.
Yes, and then I just come here with only hiragana, katakana, and that's it.
Did you know anything about Japan before coming, or were you
No,
like
I just know about the kimono and samurai like that, and image was like Japanese old movies, like we used to watch Oshin. Maybe nowadays some Japanese people even doesn't know about this movie, but that was the information about Japan.
It's interesting, right? You grew up in a time where you didn't even have a passport. You were not allowed to leave, and now you've made your life here in Japan. Do you remember how it was like for you when you first came and you left Mongolia and you were like, "Whoa, I'm actually living here now. I have my passport. I'm traveling.
Yeah, that moment when the airport flies, like, okay, I'm gonna start new me. I was telling that to myself, like, okay, I'm gonna starting, and I flew to Fukuoka. Actually, my school university was in Oita Prefecture. If you heard about Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University, so it's 2 hours from Fukuoka. So flew to Fukuoka through the Incheon, the South Korean Incheon airport. And then first time I see so many airplanes and huge airport, I was surprised. And then arrived to Fukuoka, and I didn't see any person who was wearing kimono. Am I really in Japan? Something like that funny image was like melted out there. So it was interesting.
That's quite a cultural difference, right? When you arrived, and you arrive at university, you settle in there, and you start realizing you live there. What did you study in?
I studied management, and then the school was actually international school. So half students is Japanese, and half of us are foreigners. Like we were like more than 100 different countries students. and studied both Japanese and English. You can choose one subject in two different languages. So I studied Japanese and taking my major subjects in English. But I study English in Mongolia, so my speaking was terrible, and I understand I cannot. In the beginning, it was difficult to catch the lecture, and basically I studied both English and Japanese in that university. So I just 200% put in my new student life in the country.
While you were studying here and living abroad for the first time, did you think about, I want to stay in Japan, I want to make a life here, or was this not yet?
Well, when I was a student, I was really didn't think about like what is the next. Really, I was just okay. I need to focus the graduate, study well in the school, and then being a student, like have to study plus you have to do arubaito, like part-time job, busy life, and even I have a scholarship, the living expense I have to cover myself. So I know how busy Japanese life. So like, okay, 4 years, I graduate and I want to go home. That was the last year I was thinking. But one of my friend, now he's very good boss in Mongolia. He what are you talking about? You studied and come all the way here. You need to work in Japan and get some experience. Sit down, apply some application for the companies. So then I just changed. Okay, then I will work and experience few years. That was the only reason.
One of the positions you first held after graduation was working actually at the Mongolian Consulate.
Actually, that was my second year after I graduated, because first year I was working just normal Japanese company in international trade department. The company may send some computer chips to other countries. So it's easy, just office work, and then everything just the same. Just do the beginning, you learn things, and then just easy. You get order and ship them. It's just normal. And then I started, okay, I want to do something else. And then I look for different jobs. And then I found out the consulate of Mongolian consulate in Osaka is looking for staff that speak both Japanese and English. And then I just applied and come to Osaka first time to interview. And then I hired, and that was just the switch to this job.
What is it like working inside a consulate in a foreign country? What kind of responsibilities do you have? What kind of tasks do you do? Because you're technically working for Mongolian people mostly, right?
Yeah, but since it's in Japan and it was the honorary consulate, the consulate was Japanese person honored by Mongolian government, foreign affairs, yeah. But now we have a general consulate in Osaka because Mongolia is a little bit available now to send the whole team, right? That time it was after a kind of free market country, just now was economically strong, I would say. And and then I had to do the secretary, consul secretary, and then basically I do lots of translation between Mongolian and Japanese, and she was a Japanese lady, doesn't speak Mongolian. And also I do lots of documenting things because Mongolian who lives in Japan comes to some issue documents, but they cannot get from Mongolia, but we issue those. And then issue visas. People want to go to Mongolia,
So a lot of administrative work.
Plus also we have lots of guests, government guests from Mongolia to see some Japanese people exchange. I have to do the translation, book their hotels. I did everything,
all over the place and helping everyone.
Yeah, even booking tickets, booking hotels, and translations, that kind of stuff. I learned a lot about even my own country while I'm doing that job. It was we don't know much about the country, but once your job requires, you have even the statistics, you know more about
How many
them.
people, who does what, who is where.
Exactly, yeah.
Eventually, though, you decide to take a break from Japan, right?
Yep.
What was the reason behind you kind of suddenly being here and deciding to, I'm going to leave, but I'm not going back to Mongolia, I'm going somewhere else?
Yeah, well, that is also like I worked in Consulate for 4 years, and then I just kind of understood what sector needs some help or change in Mongolia, because basically I wanted to work in Mongolia or for Mongolia. So the health sector, especially health insurance sector, was like need to be changed. I see some of possibilities that I can from Japanese health insurance system plus somewhere else. And I didn't want to study 2 years for master's. So since I did my bachelor in Japan, I need to do the master's to study. And then I look for some programs that I can only finish in 1 year. And then I found this program in Netherlands. Far as you just finish the credits that you have to, and then take the exam and do your dissertation, you just can finish. So I choose the Netherlands. That's the only reason.
It's interesting because you said earlier that you were thinking about going either to Japan or Germany, and Japan replied first, and then you ended up going to Netherlands further, but that's pretty close to Germany.
Yeah.
Right? So you kind of got to do
yes,
both anyway.
Yeah.
So you do your master's, you continue studies, and you have this idea of you want to start bringing what you learn
To
to Mongolia.
Yeah.
And here you are back in Osaka.
Yes. I did study like a financial related, like healthcare finance in Netherlands, because healthcare is a little bit tricky. That you have to make money, plus you have to be kind to the patients, right, to cure the sickness. So it's very difficult. So I want to know how the other countries doing it. So, and then I went back to Mongolia. Actually, I went there. I worked there for 1 year, but the system was not really easy for me. Still
Too complex to change.
It's not easy. It's not the time. They are not ready to change. And then I'm just gonna nervous and wasting my time there. So I just see like I need to wait this society completely, be receivable the other changes, like sudden changes. So, and then I worked in just normal company, a Mongolian company, as a HR, because my bachelor was HR management. So, and then I did some project there to change how Mongolians are a little bit like changing jobs a lot compared to Japan. But Japanese people, Japan likes to work in different, in the same company for a long time, right? But we are changing. But sometimes it's not good for the company changing, like staff, workers are changing, company just lose the very important person. So I just like this kind of skilled workers need to stay longer, and then not the skilled like professional workers can change kind of new management concepts for the company. So they have to have some motivation system to keep that way, those certain people. So I kind of mixed Japanese management system and Mongolian management system to be good for the Mongolian company.
And with that experience in your baggage, in 2016, you decide to make the big jump and start your own company. And you open in Osaka, Mongoluse, which is a company that right now I think focuses mainly on importing cashmere from Mongolia, but not only.
Yeah, but not only.
Can you tell me a little bit about what kind of made you want to start your company here in Osaka?
Yeah, so I was working in Mongolia for 1 year, and then I just see like Mongolia has a lots of good products because our nomad culture, especially like organic products like cashmere, wool, but we have only 3.4 million population. but we have more livestock and we have lots of materials made by wool in Kashmir. So they need to do import, sell other countries to make the, income more better to use their.
Yeah, if you have some good raw materials, some
Yeah.
good produce, and you sell it overseas, you can.
Yeah. So Mongolian market is too small. So I just okay, if I really want to do something for this, Mongolia, then let's go back to Japan and start Mongorusei and then sell Mongolian product. So Mongorusei means in Japanese, made in Mongolia. America say, Nihon say, right? So just made in Mongolia, that's the company name. And then I just want to represent Mongolia in Japan.
Was it difficult for you to get the company started?
Yeah, it was difficult. Yeah, so I was just myself. I had no partner. So difficult, but just the innocent dream just brought me here. And of course there's lots of days that why I started, why it was difficult. And then before I started, I didn't really think about the difficulties, and then when it's happened, you really I should have this way it would be better. It's just experience.
Is it perhaps easier to start without thinking about all of this and to just get started
so.
And then, there's a problem, let's fix it and let's go to the next one instead of.
I think so. Now if some young people or friends ask me if you wanted, you should try. And then something problem, you always stop. You can go back anytime, but difficult to go forward. So you should go forward. That I would say. So it's good that I started without any planning or any scareness, something like that. But
in Mongolian culture, is this something that a lot of young people do nowadays, kind of start a company and so on, or is it not yet?
I think it's compared to the population number, the start a new companies, young people's numbers high in Mongolia. Especially nowadays, I heard lots of IT companies, the friends start their own IT and then making some other big companies project in Mongolia, but get paid from those overseas companies and send the work. So I think it's very active there.
So you have your company now, you have Mongoluse, and you get it started without partner. And your idea is, I want to import some of these quality products from Mongolia. How did you go about to find your suppliers and to get the products to come to Japan?
So that was, I think, my advantage that as a Mongolian, because since all the products are made in Mongolian factories, so I just directly contacted them and then I just tell my purpose, and then no language gap and no, communication. So just contract and then just started. But I had to change their design, color, because Japanese people, what kind of color clothes they like, but in Mongolia we more colorful, something like that. So I just ask this color. So this kind of thing, I just to communicate with them directly.
So you brought up kind of my next question about Japanese people and what they like, right? They're your customers. You get the products from Mongolia, but you have to adapt them to the Japanese market. And the Japanese market, I don't know, how familiar are they with Mongolian cultures and with Mongolian cashmere, which is a quality product? Did you have to do a lot of education and to kind of promote your products? Or did you feel there's a lot of people that kind of want this?
Yes, it's unfortunately knowledge about Mongolian product is less compared than China, Italy, and like that.
Italy?
Yeah, Italy, for example, Italian, the famous brands buy raw material like cashmere from Mongolia, but they do the final product in Italy, and then prices triple expensive.
You put the brand name on it and suddenly it's three times more expensive.
So actually also when I see that selling the cashmere that expensive in Japan, also I got the idea, okay, I think I should just import from Mongolia directly, but cheaper. Because we get that cashmere every year from the goat, right? Every year you don't, material is always there. So, yeah, so if Italy can do it, why Mongolia can do it directly? But of course, branding is very important, and marketing is also important. And yes, educating customer every time. Every time selling product, I talk about why the Mongolian cashmere is warm and lighter, why it's better. I have to explain a lot. Some people, of course, know, but most of them doesn't. So, but we have regulars now, so they know why it's good.
So why is it so good?
Well, there's many. So the easiest example is Mongolia. Winter is very cold. We got reach minus 40, more than in 40 some areas.
Celsius.
Yeah, Celsius. And the coldness, the goat and sheep have to protect themselves from the harsh cold. So the wool and cashmere grows very warm, like long and very thin. So it makes the very good quality thread, and then make the good warm and lighter. There is a measurement for how long, I think it's very professional language, so how long and good cashmere.
Also, it's like an international kind of, let's say, trade commission that evaluates this cashmere, this wool is this quality and this thing.
Exactly, as you mentioned, the numbers, first number one is Mongolia, and then second is Chinese cashmere, and then Nepal, and then it's different. It's, of course, it's just that environment, not temperature environment. The like cat example, the loose thick hair when it's become warm, it's same. So.
You get the wool and the cashmere delivered here to Japan. Do you sell that? Do you work with companies that will make garments, or do you then make garments yourself?
We do final product in Mongolia. That's my very strict rule to say it myself, because lots of lots of companies Italy and lots of Chinese company buy raw material from Mongolia, which is very cheap, and then make a final product in their country and then sell it very high. So my purpose is Mongolia should make the final product, not selling only raw material. So I ask Japanese customers request and then make the final product in a Mongolian factory order, and then import the product and sell it.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah.
How was it like for you now to adapt to the Japanese business culture? Because you have to find your partners, you have to find your clients, and I'm sure the way negotiations go, the way you communicate is quite different from the way business is done in Mongolia, right?
Yes.
What were some of the things that were very surprising for you?
Yes, so it's, of course, I didn't know everything from the beginning. I did a lot of mistake. I lost a lot of customers, even though I had the business meeting and things, because my try was wrong, or I didn't know Japanese, business culture, etc. So when they say, okay, yes, hi, I believed oh yeah, this company is becoming my customer. I'm so happy waiting for the order. But no, it's nothing like that. So you have to become now I understand I have to learn golf.
You have to learn golfing.
Golf, yeah. So lots of friends a business owners telling you should learn golf. You just find your customer
playing golf outside of Osaka.
Golf, talking, the business talk starts there. They say,
so how
I never
good is your
tried. I haven't tried it yet, so I have to make some time to learn golf. One thing is I'm left-handed. I don't know if there is the tool for those people.
I'm sure there is. I'm not a very familiar with golfing, but I can imagine there is.
So I heard that people talk and make business deals while talking golf. So I don't know. I should try.
Yeah. What were some of the key selling points for you? Because you have these very quality products. They are made in Mongolia. Did you notice maybe your Japanese customers have certain preferences where you're like, oh, this is interesting because in Mongolia people prefer this, but in Japan they really want this kind of product?
Yeah, so Mongolia, we like the colorful things and like more color, but Japan, they like simple thing is the best. So I change and I order my products like more natural color, like even don't dye, like organic, don't even dye the cashmere, and that is also a very big advantage, and to explain customer they like it that way. And also my staff, like sales staff, is usually most of them like Mongolian girls explain. So the real Mongolian girls explain their product and their material. It's like more like touching, like reaching the customer. And plus, my price is also very how you say, easy, competitive, because I am just, there is no between factory and other company. I'm just ordering from factory and then bringing it myself, our company, and then there is no between company, so I can just sell it
directly.
Yeah.
Japan being an island country, everything needs to be imported from overseas. Have you faced challenges with kind of import regulations that you need to get a lot of licenses to be allowed to bring in those products for resale?
Yes, of course, because the cashmere and wool is like seasonal products. Like, you start selling autumn through the winter, and summer there is no like sales. So I had to bring other like products that can sell summer to stable my company income, right? So there is some food and cosmetics, the organic, that I can import from Mongolia, but the regulations, I couldn't really cope with it. So I have to pay lots of license, money for license, and that's like, but I can import through the company who already have a license, those things, but then I think the profit will be very
interesting. So there
small.
are companies in Japan that offer kind of import services that kind of have licenses to bring in products. Yeah. And you can basically order from your supplier overseas and have it delivered through them and pay
basically
like a fee.
they are supplying.
Oh.
They are importing. Have to be them, right? So,
yeah, but then you cut your profit a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, and also like lots of regulations, plus the amount like Japanese market requires a lot, huge. In
terms of volume.
In terms of volume, yeah. So it's scary. Once I decided, I found the customer, but Mongolia side cannot supply, then it's a big problem causing occur to the other Japanese company, right? So it's also scary.
Did you find a way to manage those situations?
Yeah, there was like one Japanese company wants some socks, and the Mongolian factory, yeah, we can do it. So I also support like middle business companies, not big companies in Mongolia, like startups. And then I just try to help and then order my product to them. And then when time comes, they just said, we cannot do it, it's not possible. Like they start telling their reasons, something, and then it's scary, And then my customer is already waiting, Japanese, right? And then even though I explain, they don't accept it. So the middle me become like, I'm sorry, moshiwake gozaimasen, something like that. So I lose one customer, like something like that. And also it's scary. And also I understand the situation in Mongolia. It's not easy. They're trying, but...
But they need more maybe infrastructure.
Yeah, infrastructure. And then also like work ethic. business ethic. Like if you, it's behind me, there's a big company, promises going. They should realize that. Of course, it's getting better, Japanese, Mongolian companies, but still, it's some part is very risky, and then I have to deal with the risk myself. Yeah.
You said that because wool and cashmere are a very seasonal product. You started importing other produce like food and so on. Is that also the reason why you decided to open your cafe in Mongolia?
Yes, there's two reasons exactly you mentioned. I need some to do the whole year, not only autumn and winter. And that's the thing I opened the Cafe Mongolia restaurants that serve all season. And plus I need to have the place to introduce my culture, my product. Because the shop, if I open the shop, then summer, there will be no, sales. So usually I do my sellings during the winter season in department stores, like scheduled. They give me, okay, this month you can sell your products. It's easier for me that I don't need to pay the rent, worry about the rent. So just only busy winter season I sell my product and then gone. Yeah, so and then the cafe, sometimes people like, when you finish this event, so where can I go and buy your product? There's a customer who knows and used our product and liked them. They want more, but need some place that they have to find us. So I have some small shop corner in my cafe, so people can reach us there. So, and then we still continue introducing the product. So.
And it's a space where people can discover Mongolian culture also through food. What can people expect? Can you tell us about Mongolian food and what you share and what you kind of serve to your customers?
So we have lots of livestock. We eat lots of meat, lamb, not only sheep, also horse and beef. We even eat camel meat too.
Camel?
Yeah, people surprised, like a goat milk too. So we have lots of meat involved food, but Japanese people like their image is like lamb is Mongolians only eat.
Really?
Yeah, so they come for lamb, but we have different sex selections, and it's traditional food is like every food has a meat.
So I've never had, I know Mongolian barbecue is quite famous, but I've never had Mongolian food. So if I go to your cafe for dinner tonight, is there one dish that everyone should kind of start with and should discover?
Yes, I would like to say like fried noodle. In Mongolia, we say tsuibang. Fried noodle is quite popular among the Mongolians, plus my customers also like it because we don't have a rice. Right, rice is always imported product in Mongolia. So this noodle, fried noodle made of flour. So we make it from a scratch. So, and it's very delicious.
I can imagine.
You should try that.
Is it something like yakisoba or completely different?
You can compare it like a yakisoba, but the tasting and then the noodle is very different, handmade. And before fry, we have to steam it, and
interesting.
It's a little different.
A lot of people that open restaurants here, especially restaurants with kind of foreign food, they tend to adjust the flavors to match the Japanese taste. Because Japanese people, for example, generally speaking, don't like food that is too spicy, and they have their own kind of preferences. So you'll see a Japanese curry. You'll see a Japanese way to cook something French. Have you had to change your food, or have you decided to keep it original to the?
It's funny that I didn't need to change the test, but I needed to change the volume.
Oh,
Mongolians, we eat a lot. So like for example, that fried noodle tsuibang, I serve here, but in Mongolia, people require double volume that we serve here. That kind of thing we just adjust. And Mongolia, we also eat very simple, like only salt and pepper and herbs. That's
so not
the
too many
only
sauces.
yeah. So we just keep that simple test to serve, but we put sauces and then additional thing on the table, so people can just add if they need. Yeah. So some people say like it's too simple test. Like, well, that's we eat in Mongolia, so you're welcome to adjust it. We have sauce in your table, so.
Interesting. Are there many Mongolian restaurants and communities here in Osaka or in?
Compared to Tokyo, Osaka, we only have, I would say us is only Mongolian. And there's other 2 Mongolian restaurants, they say serve Mongolian food, but the owners, the cook is Inner Mongolian.
So from the northern part of
Northern
China.
part of the China, yeah. So the influence from Chinese food, the testing, the sauce, you can test it. Very different than we eat in Mongolia.
But then in Tokyo, more options.
More options, yeah, because the more Mongolians live in Tokyo area, we have here fewer. So.
Are you able to get all the produce you need to cook your dishes, traditional dishes, here in Japan, or do you need to?
All the materials we use for cooking is, except the sauce and salt, we have to use material we can find in Japan. So it's not the meat that we can bring in from Mongolia. So in that case, because of that, there is a limit that we cannot find some other materials that we would love to serve here, the food, but because no material, there is lots of food that we can't serve.
That's difficult.
So you should go to Mongolia.
Yeah. Well, now I know, thanks to you, that in summer there are direct flights on Wednesdays and Saturdays from Kansai International Airport to Ulaanbaatar. How do you manage to run a cafe, run an import business, and do many things in between? You must be...
Yeah, my days are busy, very busy, because my company is not very big. I only have 2 more staff, like my company staff, and a few like part-time when I need them, like busy days. So I have to do it.
Yeah, you just gotta do it.
Focus on sales products is usually autumn and winter. And then my staff have to take care of the cafe. And then during this period, my not busy period, so only cafe and restaurants. So I'm flying to Mongolia tomorrow. And
you gotta meet with your partners in Mongolia?
Yeah, it's like time to order and then decide the volume, how many I need. So
you've been doing this for 8 years now already, which is quite a success story, right? Most new companies don't last longer than 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, they say, but we had COVID 3 years. Basically, COVID put me down at home for 3 years. So the active year, I would say 5 years actively. And
Are you planning the next 5 already?
I have a plan, but not 5. I don't really plan that long, so like
it's
3
difficult,
years.
Right?
Yeah,
no.
3 years plan I have, and we'll see.
What is it that you'd like to do? You came with this dream of promoting Mongolian culture and kind of bringing Mongolian products here to Japan. And you're doing this now, right? You have the cafe, you're importing cashmere. What is next? What are the next big things you'd like to do?
I think it will be actually continue, but I don't want to stuck in one thing. So once I get like cafe, once it's gonna be 2 years in October. get better, I just leave it to the staff. They have to do it, and then I'm gonna do some other possibilities that bring Mongolia to Japan or more even international. We'll see.
Interesting. Many things ahead. I want to kind of wrap up our conversation a little bit by looking back at your experience here. You first came to Japan and you left, and then you went to Mongolia, and then you came back to Japan. Do you feel like a lot of things have changed since you first landed at Fukuoka airport?
Yeah, if I go back, yes, a lots of difference. But I would say personally, I grew up and experienced lots of experience. I think compared to the same age of the friends, I think my experience very up and down, surprisingly. Yeah, I'm changed a lot, more like open to any kind of condition issues come up. And of course, I always thankful for friends, like especially for foreign friends in Osaka. We are just brothers and sisters each other when we are away from home. So when I have a problem, I talk to friends and have some like power up talking. It's always home when I talk with them.
Yeah, having a community is important.
Yeah, very important.
You said that you grew up watching some older Japanese movies like Oshin, and for you, people in Japan were wearing kimonos, and you were disappointed
right.
when you arrived the first time. Now, with so many years of experience living here, what is Japan to you? What kind of place is it?
Yeah, about the kimono story. When I arrived in university, and then one of my friend asked, "Do you have TV in Mongolia?" So it was like laughing, plus like it was a key that my image about Japan was like kimono, but people think Mongolia has no TV, so it's just the same. You don't know it until see it. So it's just answer that the clue was, yeah.
And today?
And today it's...
Has your image changed?
Yeah, it's like... for me, it's more like possibilities in this country. If you find what do you want to do and you think it's possible, I think everything, the rules, regulations are clear. If you can only, cope with it, and then, I think it's more possibilities are here.
And maybe without making too much of a plan, right?
Yeah.
You have to be a little bit naive to get started.
Yeah.
For all our listeners today and people that may watch the video on YouTube later, what should be one or two things they should really know and remember about Mongolia?
Mongolia is huge, big steppe, the grassland. You won't see the endless, the grassland, and so wide. And we even Mongolians express Mongolians' heart. We are same as our grassland. We are very open and very welcoming to other peoples. We'll try to help, try to cooperate, and very open to anything. And then there is no impossible for us. So that's the only thing we can say about Mongolian.
That's a very nice thing. So I think everyone should go and experience Mongolian culture in Osaka, in your cafe.
Yes.
Try to wear Mongolian cashmere and maybe go and explore Mongolia if they get a chance to.
Yes. First, please visit Cafe Mongolia in Osaka. We have lots of magazines and books about Mongolia, and some videos always on the screen. And staff speaks English, Japanese. So welcome.
Thank you very much, Zaya, for coming today and sharing your experience, your story, the challenges you went through. And I hope that we can see a lot more from Mongorese in the next few years. We'll make sure to provide all the links and information so people can find you if they have more questions. And maybe some future Mongolian students will also see this video and think, oh, if she did this, I can do this too in Japan.
Yep. Thank you very much for inviting this podcast. I think it was a good interview, plus recall my past.
Memories come back.
Yeah, memories come back, and there were some moments that I become emotional. I think people need to talk each other more, not only iPhone conversation. So it's
Face
important.
to face, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you for being so open and sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for listening and watching. This was Unpacking Japan, and we'll be back again next week. Bye. Are you looking for another podcast episode to listen to next? If you like the one you just listened to, I'm sure you'll also enjoy the one that I've selected and linked in the description down below. Go check it out.